What's up? What's up? All my true funk soldiers, funketeers, where y'all at? Yeah, you know what time it is. Funk from the front seat, 9 on the grind, TV. Yeah, baby, I'm feeling hype today. Thank you, Joe Keys. Yeah, yeah. We got the West Coast coming in the house today, y'all. Mr. Victor Taylor's in the house with us. How y'all doing out there? All right, you know how we do. I gotta shout out a few people around the world. What's up, Ohio? California's in the house. New York City, Georgia, Texas, Indiana, y'all. Woo! Minneapolis, where y'all at? New Jersey, West Virginia, South to North Dakota, South to North Carolina. Woo! Yeah, Virginia, where you at? Houston, New Orleans is in the house. How y'all doing? What's happening? Funk from the front seat, live right now, coming to you in living color. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm number 9. I'm your host for the most. Man, shouts to my main man, Mr. Mark Lee, behind the glass, keeping it funky, keeping it real, and making everything last so smooth. You know how we feel. So y'all check it out. Today, I got on the show Mr. Victor Taylor from the West Coast. The brother got up early to come and chat and hang out with us here on the front seat. So we're going to do him some justice, give him some love. Y'all put your hands up, clap your hands out there. Mr. Victor Taylor, y'all.
Hey.
What's up, bro? How you doing? How is everything, man?
Oh, man, everything's swift, smooth, and all good out here in Los Angeles, California. The weather's
That's
great.
What's up, man? Yo, I have hats from all around, and I've repped my LA for you today, all right?
I saw you rep the LA. I
got you, bro. Yeah, I got hats. That's my thing. I collect hats and T-shirts, man. And man, shouts out to one of my sponsors today, Mr. Joe Keys. Thank you, Late Bloomer Band, for hooking me up. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be extraordinary. First of all, peace, love, and harmony. If you have any ailments today or, lay it on your radio and let the funk do what it do. If you lost somebody due to COVID, know that we love you and we care about you. If you got a birthday or anniversary or anything today, happy birthday, y'all out there. Shout out. Y'all stay active on the chat. Hit me up when you can. Mr. Victor Taylor's in the house. He's an amazing brother. We've met, and I'm going to start right here, Victor, if you don't mind, through a mutual friend, Mr. Curtis Wilcox.
Curtis Wilcox.
Yeah, so how do you connect with Curtis?
So Curtis Wilcox, as you know, I put that comic book together about 17 years back. So
yes, sir.
About a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago, I was surfing and I saw Curtis's work, and I immediately fell in love with the work. I know Pedro Bill had passed away from Parliament, the Parliament Funkadelic artist, and I knew that these next records that I was going to have to be doing had to have an artist connected with them. And, me and Curtis really connect each other, And so I started using his work, and he actually did the artwork for a song called Lift Off, which will be premiering in a few months here. I'm waiting for a wardrobe to finish some things. But the artwork that Curtis did really resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? And so I contacted him. Then we talked, and before you know it, we were going back and forth with concepts, and we had a lot in common. That's what I like the best.
Yeah. Curtis is a deep brother because he does stuff for my thing, whatever, too, man. And when he called me, he's like, "Yo, man, I got another." You know how he talks to that raspy voice. He's like, I got another one for you.
right. I got for you. Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah. He said, I call it. He said, call his cat out, call his cat out in Cali, right? So I was like, all right, cool. But I'm glad he did, bro, because this is how we need to connect, especially now, man. During COVID and all of this stuff, I'm glad to see true funk soldiers like you keeping it real, keeping it moving, and you inspire other people, bro. Let me tell you, you inspire us. And thank God we're able to continue to make this music and share this music that you do. Because I listen to your music, man, and let me tell you, we're gonna get into that and show your video to the audience out there and everything. But yo, man, it's tight, man. So Funkonaut, tell me about that name, the origin of that.
So Funkonaut is from what I understand, Ohio Players actually had the name inside of a song, but it was not what I was thinking about. What actually happened
Right.
is a friend of mine has a friend who's a DJ overseas, and he's DJ Funkanauts. So I met with James Brown's grandson maybe about 4 months ago, and we were talking about X-Man, because you know X-Man is the name everybody knows me by. But
Right.
James Brown's grandson, you know, he's looking at Curtis's artwork. He was listening to the music. He said, "Man, everything's there, bro. The bass, the X bass is there. You got all this stuff, man. All got to come together." He said, "It all got to come together." And I said, "You know something? All right." So we threw all these names out, you know, this and that. And had I been a DJ, I probably wouldn't have used the name. But you know, DJ Funkanauts was the actual. That was just the honest to goodness name that resonated after we went through about 100 names, and I came back to Funkanauts. And because I represent the funk as a bass player and as a respecter of, you know, the Funketeers that come before me, I thought it'd be only right that the Funkanaut name sit with a true person who loved funk for real and, you know, live for that.
You know, and you're so right. And I'm so glad you said that, because the way things come to us, when they have to come and when they appear to us, are always meant to be. And, you know, when we get into this whole thing called funk, it chooses us. We never choose it. You know what I mean? So it was yours. It was yours all along, bro. Yeah. So leading up to that, K-Bay, yo, you got to show this to the audience, man, because I want my audience to see this act. Because, and you can tell us a little bit about this before we start talking about your music in the video, man. But tell us a little bit about this boy.
So this is the X bass. It is designed by myself and Mark Singleton. The bass is also, I'm gonna try not to mess up. The bass is also, you see a regular connector in the back, but it's also MIDI. So
yes.
I can control my Mac computer with it, and do all kind of crazy things. I can play whatever keyboards I need to play from the bass. It is made out of the best materials. It has all the top-notch pickups. It's got the Music Man and Mark Singleton custom electronics in it. It also has big glow-in-the-dark dots. It has custom glow feature, so I could be in pitch black and my bass will light up so I can play it easily. It's a precision instrument, man, and it sounds so good. It's so dope.
Yo, totally.
And so,
you know,
without the amplifier, it's loud because of the shape of it. But it comes from a comic book I did about 17 years back, X-Man: Adventures in Hype City, and he flies around on this bass,
really?
Kind of a skateboard, and he fights crime. You know, and what he was really avenging in that first comic book is he was avenging rappers who trying to bite off the original rapper. So I was kind of avenging Biggie, avenging Nas, avenging the fake NWA dudes. Anybody trying to copy anybody worth anything.
Right.
In the game, X-Man was out straight up clobbering them with
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, man, that's crazy tight, man. So a little bit about your comic book, because you said that came out a minute ago. But what inspired you? Because artists always crossing over from one thing to another whenever our mind tells us to. And what inspired you to link up the musical rapper Avenger thing with the comic book thing?
You know, the superhero in all of us, you know, we're in a different situation every few days, you know what I'm saying, where you want the superhero to come out. And really looking back in the day, it tells a kid Funkadelic, you know, eating cereal, listening to Funkadelic and looking at the backs of those albums, and then even looking at the back of the cornflake box, you know, seeing the cartoons. The cartoons here in California got a warm place in my heart. You know what I'm saying? You know, Bugs Bunny, all the greats.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, you kind of link that with how you feel outside when you go hop on your dirt bike, you know, and ride on down the block with all your boys. And so those moments kind of kept the comic book thing in my heart. So I got into the comics and, you know, X-Men and different things. But my hood actually started calling me X-Man before I knew about the comic X-Men. So the name was already a comic book name that was already kind of taken. So the Avenger of hip hop kind of became where I was at because I saw so many people copying. I saw Eminem copies. I was looking at Ice Cube copies. I'm looking at KRS-One copies, and I know all these people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know Eminem, but I know KRS and those kind of guys. And
Right.
I produced Cube in them. You know, so I really felt that you gotta. You gotta avenge the originals because them guys ain't who they are for no reason, bro. They had to go through life, and life had to come to them on its terms, and they became who they became because that's what it was about. So it really, and still is. You'll hear in a lot of my music. I'll mention Bootsy. I'll mention George. I'll mention Johnny Guitar Watson. I'll start mentioning people in the background. I'll just start mentioning people in the back. Whether I met them or not, I like people who help the magic happen.
Yeah. You know what? And that's like, paying homage because, in this game, sometimes people forget funk was such an underground thing for such a long time until it crossed over and went to Europe and crossed over and the mothership actually got the whole universe funked up. But for a long time, it was a certain segment of the population. And it's so good to always see, the kind of cats that were there at the top of it kind of get their credit, number one. And number two, Benevolent Funk and Otis Hawk and Donna Sneed, Toast to the Boogie, that thing, always being keepers of the funk, keeping it alive, And thank God, man, because a lot of people would have let this thing die off if we didn't try to keep it alive. So now this whole new generation is grabbing it, which is cool, but I like what you're doing, paying homage to the vets, the Hall of Famers, the ones that never got a chance to see it blow up like this, even though they're looking down from heaven. Because I talk to Gary Scheider in my dreams all the time. Glenn Goins, yep.
Yeah, that's dope. That's
all those cats, man. Yep. So let's jump back for a minute. Again, we're hanging out, with X Man, he's chilling with us, was kind enough to take time and join us on Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV today. We're going to be checking out his video and his promos and things. And I wanted to go back, sir, if I may, to Dr. B.W. Taylor and his best friend, Roy Smyer, I believe, right? Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your father's connection and the 24 Pro recording studio in Compton, Cash Records.
So Cash Recorders, Compton Audio Specialist Headquarters. And so my father, Dr. B.W. Taylor, doctor of philosophy, he was a great man, a poet. He spoke about 5 different languages. He stayed in a suit. I never seen him argue with my mom. He kept the house impeccable. I'm talking about a man. I'm talking about a superhero. So don't you get it twisted. When I say B.W. Taylor, I might as well be saying Superman, Superfly, and just super cool. Chess master. Don't never raise his voice. And so I think that Pops realized that I love music. And, he saw me making music since I've been a little kid. I'd grab all the tape recorders out the house and be multi-tracking in the house.
Right.
Beat with my mouth, you know what I'm saying? Back in probably the 70s, And so as time went on, he saw the DJing come through. So now I'm DJing. It's been at high school, St. Mary's, St. Michael's, Bourbon Day and whatnot. And so Dad realized that I was really serious about this. So he took me to a studio to meet a guy named Art Holly. Art Holly was doing a full session. And that was the first time I got a chance to see an entire studio with different musicians in different cubicles and everybody following the drummer in another cubicle and sit in the control room and get the vibration of the full record. Now, I already been into it, but I got that vibration. So when Dad saw that, he really made a move on that. So what I'll say is, first and foremost, Dad is an incredible Black man and just a humble man. And he was a father to a lot of people, like a dad to a lot of people, but he had 3 sons by one woman, my mom, Miss Taylor. And I have the pleasure of keeping an eye on her now at 90 years old, 90 years young, she's just turned. And once again, it's given me the opportunity to pay homage to the man that picked such a lovely woman. Where I come from, bro, the days are always sunny. This house, the prayers that they did and the way that they handled their business, man. Let me say first about B.W. Taylor, if I'm gonna say anything, man, he's one of the coldest men I've ever met. And I just every day he's with me. It's like he never left. I promise you, man. His funeral, he taught me so much that his funeral was like a wedding, bro. Because I knew now he's eternal, he's ethereal, he's omnipresent. Let's go. And man, Dad, just stay with me, man. I roll with my father, man. I don't even play, bro. So now let's go on. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So I roll with Dad. So Dad's concepts of "it's done unto you as you believe" is really where he gets down. So when Dad and Roy got together, you know, as the philosopher and thinker that my father is, you know, he started pulling things into focus once he realized that I was serious about what I was doing. And he didn't just want to do any kind of recording studio. He wanted to do something special that people could really gravitate to in a city that wouldn't usually get that opportunity. So he went and got Chuck Foster and Ken Hurst, two designers that design big rooms in Hollywood. They design big studios in Hollywood, California. And he brought them to Compton. And those two guys, they were another persuasion, of course. But those two engineers came into Compton and put together a 24-track automated MCI room that was incredible. And that room would attract many of the greats, including George Clinton, Johnny Guitar Watson, Little Richard, Earth, Wind & Fire, Horn Section, you know, members of different groups. So many people. Marvin Gaye. And Marvin Gaye actually ended up bringing a lot of equipment into our studio because we actually had his nephew, Tony Houston, was our head engineer for a lot of years. So the Gaye family, Marvin Gaye, his brother Frankie, Tony, you know, I'm growing up looking at these guys. You know, these guys are in and out of the room. And my biggest thing about Dad is that, you know, he got with Roy and they stuck to something and they saw it through. I didn't realize how cold it was until just recently, but it is a part of Black history because he didn't go.
Yes, I was going to say that. Yes, sir. Because, and you know what I like I can see why now meeting you again, because I knew you in another life, I'm sure, but I can see why now meeting you again, bro, you're so grounded, because the story that you just told sets the stage for everything else. And your father, and I was going to mention that whole thing with the studio, man, that is Black history. And I always tell people, listen, you know, we need to celebrate Black history in several ways. Number one, of course, the people that came before us and we stand on their shoulders. But number two, while people are still here, we tell them, hey, we love you. Thank you. You are making Black history. You are Black history every day. And it's not just for the month. It's 365, 24/7, man. That's an amazing story. Here we are again hanging out with X-Man, you know, hanging out. Funk from the Front Seat, Not on the Grind TV. Y'all hang out with us, chat with us, look us up. His information will be there on the bottom. My man, Mark Lee. Thank you, Mark, for that. Putting it out there. But yeah, man, so check it out. When we get into this thing called funk, right? Yeah. And I say we, I mean the Funk family. And you talk about all the people you produced and things like that. And then you're doing your solo career as well, man. How long have you been doing your solo and your career, bro, in music? Because I know you're a veteran. I know you've done so much work with so many people, man. We didn't even realize we knew Star Colors. I was like, yeah, Star been on the show. So, you know, tell us a little bit about that before I jump into your video and some other things.
So I've been doing music, like I said. I've been doing music, just getting concepts out since I was a very small child. 2 years old, not 2 years old, second grade. Around second grade is when I heard James Brown's "Make It Funky" passing by in the lowrider. Somebody was bumping "Make It Funky," and that DNA hit me in that very short period of time. I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So I found myself just chasing the opportunity to record what I started hearing in my head, and those kind of vibes probably started about, you know, second, grade. And then by the time I got to fourth grade, I had my first guitar and I'd be playing guitar, learning guitar, but I'd be sneaking onto my big brother's bass guitar when he'd be out with the boys on the block. So every time he's on the block, I'm playing his bass guitar. But all he had at the house was Stanley Clarke records. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what I couldn't do. So I started playing, you know, a lot of advanced stuff. And another one of the records that the group of the records he had was always Funkadelic, you know, Parliament, you know, Funkadelic first, but Parliament eventually and Funkadelic was there. And so, man, I became a funky jazz fusion bassist probably by 12, 13, I was playing pretty much like I'm playing now. I was getting some attention, and a lot of crowds would gather around when I play. And so my father and mom sent me to a couple of music teachers, but I would end up teaching the teachers. So I'd be in there, learning. And so I'm learning what I got to learn, and then they'd leave, go whatever they're going to eat or whatever. But when I get through playing the lesson, I start playing. Every time I start playing, the teacher's sitting in the other seat looking at me, and they come in back in and teach me. So, and that also happened on drums. So in junior high school, the same thing happened. Playing for orchestra, playing drums. The orchestra has a straight up and down, just play thing. But my teacher, Mr. Talbert walks in one day before class starts, and I got the orchestra just swinging. They up in there, we up in the orchestra room swinging. He's like, he took my book. I never forget. Mr. Talbert just took my drum book and said, "From now on, Victor, do what you want to do." And so I really respect when he did that. Some people may think it would be a problem, but you know what? When Mr. Talbot took my book, it started letting me know that I have something innate that you don't need to write.
Yeah,
something
that's right.
My heart.
That's right.
Yeah, and I've always been that, man. So when you hear the music, it's been about. I've been producing records professionally. I guess my first professional record would be Troop, way back in the 90s. So let me put that back in the 95, 94, 93 area. But me and my business partner met at my dad's studio, and we were record makers then. I mean, when I heard 88, I knew I thought my 88 is out of Brooklyn, New York. And when I met 88 at my dad's studio and I heard him play for the first time, somebody could play with the stuff I was playing on his bass. Because I was playing some intricate funk. And most people that hear me play this or that funk back then, they usually will sit down and listen. Even if they had an instrument, they just sit down and look. 88 was the first person to sit down and take out his guitar and start playing the perfect stuff. The minute he did that, I never looked for another partner again as far as playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that Brooklyn, LA connection would always roll with me. Because even in high school, when I was best friends, New York Dre, I always gravitated to East Coast folks. And so it's just having 88 as a partner to make the first entry into gold and platinum records was so just awesome, bro. So
that's what's up. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know out there, Michael K. Simmons, aka 88, that's this that's Funkanot's partner in music and crime and all that good stuff. And we all sometimes run into people that things just click with us. We can't click with everybody, but every now and then when you get that first click, then things are right, and you be like, okay, this man or this woman can pick out what's in my head and match up what I'm hearing in my head, without saying the words. That's right. Without saying the words, man. So last Funk OG, I like that. And we get ready to take a short break in about another 5 minutes. After that, we're gonna come back on the top side. We're gonna be showing your video, and we're gonna talk about that good stuff and your new promo stuff and everything. Here we are hanging out with Funkanot, my main man, brother from another mothership, from a past life, and everybody knows that's nice. So we're gonna make sure we keep you as a regular on the show. Come back with us. We got plenty of time to chop it up. For you out there, hello Cheryl, how you doing? Thanks for everybody chiming in. You guys make sure y'all go spread this funk around. I looked at this video last night. I watched it 4 times. I had my producer watch it. So we're very excited to show this on our show. And thank you, sir, for sharing this with us, man. We appreciate cats like you and the musicians that you've worked with, obviously. We'll save those stories for another edition, part 2 and 3. Today it's all about you and what you do. So tell me, Compton, like you said, your dad and your mom set those boundaries for you. And I noticed, I call it street dirt. You got some of that street dirt on you with the hip hop flavor, which I love. I love how you fused them both because, everybody was doing it. Some people better than others, and I don't take nothing away from nobody on the grind. I love it all. But sometimes you can't fit a square peg into a round hole,
Right. Right.
And sometimes you can't quantize a sound. Sometimes you got to let it go like this, and you need the noise in between the tracks that make it funky. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. So when you're producing and you're working with your partner, do you guys plan out a lot, or do you just instinctively know what it is and you're going to be like, okay, we'll start here and then we'll build everything on top of it? Everybody has their different style. Give us a little bit of your insight when you're in the studio and you be like, yo, man, I got a track. How do we cut it? Where we going to start? What do you do?
So my biggest thing right now, my biggest thing back then when I was cutting with 88, because I haven't done records with 88 for quite some time, but he was the entry into my joint, and he was my longest standing partner. Now and then, it was intention. First and foremost, intention. I got to give Danny Clay Williams a big shout out.
Awesome.
Another one of the engineers out of the Compton studio. He's moved on. Rest in peace, Danny. Danny would talk to his equipment before he start engineering. He'd talk to the EQ board. He'd be talking to it with a cigarette hanging out his mouth, and he'd be real mad.
What would he say?
Danny Williams would talk to the board. He'd talk to the outboard equipment.
What would he say?
We about to get this record right, man. You gonna turn this. Come on, you hear him talking. I'm like, is this fool talking to the equipment? But what I was realizing is Danny was getting into a space.
Yes.
He was getting into an intention space. So first and foremost, with X-Man, it was about the space before we get into even touching any equipment. Like the space got to be hot, and you got to intend to make something hot. Then, even when the machine mess up and the quantize fall off and something, even your accidents end up being some of your hottest stuff. So under my dad, B.W. Taylor, always, before he passed away, his last 2 years, and he's talking about a doctor of philosophy, chess master, speak a bunch of languages. He could talk about so many subjects, but his last 2 years, he was on, it's done unto you as you believe. My father was, and you got to stop affirming negativity. He was checking our asses every chance, anytime he heard something negative. So let me say first and foremost, we put on the wall that we don't make demos no more. We put that on the wall of the office. And we went in every session with the intention of making something fantastic. And at that point, I thought, okay, X, no more making records. You making history. And right then, man, when I turn on equipment, I think I'm making history. I don't even consider them records no more. I just consider them records as far as records in the file cabinet. I'm making a record to make a universe concussion plus left from the last punch I chucked shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Intention first. The next thing would be the MPC for me. So now I have the machine. I have the machine next to me now. It reminds me of the MP. But the MPC is where I would start. And man, 88 would come in and he was a chord master. He taught me what a partner's supposed to be when it comes time to chords and fill-ins. And that's what he brings to the table. As far as lyric writing, I've always been a lyrical, I just love lyrics. I love lyricists. I could blame it on Rakim. And I could blame it on so many others. Smokey Robinson, Barry Gordy. The people that like these lyrical guys. And X-Man is a lyricist too. So usually I'll start with the drum. The bass line will hit me. Many times I'll be in a dream state of sleep, and I'll turn the radio on, and it's a whole nother song I never heard before. I'm hearing singing. I'm hearing the song is mixed, and I started teaching myself to wake up. And so I always keep a tape recorder with me. Thank God for cell phones now, because you can record.
Yep.
But like the dog, if there's a dog in the car with me, he'll be telling me to wake up. You know what I'm saying? If there's a girl in the car with me, to tell me, wake up, wake up, wake up. And so I started realizing that I actually have music rolling with me. I have original music just playing in my head. So original music constantly. So I just started becoming more quiet, but I still would touch the drum first, and then I pick up the bass. And if you know me, I play drums on the bass too. So I play the bass a lot, like a conga drum and overtones. I may play the bass for an hour and I ain't even hit a note. I'm about taps, touches, thumps, and muting. So drums and bass are my first thing. Then I relied on 88 for a lot of key stuff. But I do hear Patrice Rushen like keys. I hear a lot of pretty keys, and I hear some Bernie Worrell like keys
Oh yeah,
in my head
yeah,
all day. So like
yeah.
now I do a lot of my own. But I have Steve. I have a kid now that I'm working with named Steve Garcia. Oh my God, he's in the video with me. Steve Garcia. He again, a connoisseur of chord choices based on some Roy Ayers love. Come on, man.
Oh wow.
Work with me now. So expectation of a groove that's gonna make history. Expectation of myself or the right person. Putting that Patrice Rushen, that Roy Ayers, that Earth, Wind & Fire, that Dexter Wenzel. I need to have that Nights Over Egypt. Right. You better make me smile when you play that chord, bro, and them transitions. So that's me, man. And it's simple. It ain't, man, come on, man. I could hook up with you today, and we're going to be done with one quick.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I expect it. I don't expect nothing less ever, man. And I ain't talking about I'm talking about history. My demo's historic. I'll be like, man. And so the conduit of God, man, I expect it, bro. And I'm going to blame that on Dad and a lot of great people being around me and me paying attention. You know, George Clinton say, pay attention, bro.
That's right. Pay attention. That's right.
Yeah,
get in where you fit. That's right. Yo, I'm having such a good chat with you, man. I'm over there on the West Coast with you. You over here on the East Coast with me. We brothers from another mother now that we reconnected, man. Yeah. And, you know, hanging out with you, X-Man, and, you know, just getting into your vibe again, man, and understanding this universal connection that, you know, the funk shares with everybody and everyone. It's a big, happy fraternity family. You know, there's ups and downs, there's likes and dislikes, but that's life. So when we get together and we all on the same thing, like Bob Marley said, that one heartbeat, like George said, on the one, hitting that hard, Bootsy always stresses the one. The one is the power of the one. You know what I'm saying? When we stress that in that music, it's always going to be right, man. Right now, hanging out, we're going to take a quick 2 seconds to give our sponsors a shout out and the people that support the show. You know, we're going to keep, you know, Funkin' Out X-Man on the screen, but I'm going to run this video by, you know, my main man, Keith Jackson, P-Funk Radio, and shout out a few other people that we're going to get back and bring on, you know, check out this video that's crazy hot that you did, man. I'm loving that. So, Mark, if you could drop that for me, please. My main man, Mark Lee behind the glass, Funk from the front seat, 9 on the grind. TV, y'all, hanging out. And it's so good.
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guest, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
Appreciate you for that. And I want to give a shout out to Bootsy and Patty, Club Funketeer Ambassadors, and P-Funk Radio, Joe Keys, Donna and Otis, Benevolent Funk, Philip Coley, I love you, bro, down in Houston. Stay safe. Get on the Funk Bus. Tony Cam, thank you, man. I'm still waiting on that swag. And, you know, Dr. Brookenstein, my website designer, Curtis Wilcox, always doing great artwork, Patty. You know, Dioria, Aquarius, Art Rising. I love all these people. They're constantly keeping me afloat and giving me positive energy and love. And again, thank you for everybody tuning in out there. We appreciate you guys. Keep the comments coming. Please follow us. We're all over social media, so you can check that out. So Mark is going to bring up this video, you know, and when I heard it, I was like, oh, I was like, oh, that's why as soon as I heard it and I watched it, I texted you right then and there. I was like, oh, okay.
That part. Thank you so much, man. That's dope. I mean, hey, what can you say? It's you gotta anytime you play Stretching Out, you gotta pay homage to the people that come before you.
Stretch out.
And I gotta give Bootsy and Patty and George just a big shout out, man. What would I be? Man, what would I be, bro?
That's right. That's how we all feel, because they're the funk fathers, the keepers of the funk.
Come on,
yep,
man.
that's right.
Come on, man. So, yeah, I'm glad you dig the video, man. I got to give love to Zarian Hadley. I got to give a big shout out to Stevie Garcia, my brother Mel Taylor, who was one of the grips on the actual set. we got that together, man. And I really liked the video. I thought once it was done that we did it well. You know, I thought it was a good job, man.
Y'all nailed it, and you paid homage, like you said, man. And we're gonna run that as soon as Mark gets that up. So yeah, you guys paid homage to that. As soon
Looks like he got it.
Yo, Mark.
Pull up, 4-string, parallel lane. Funk a lot that trunk, nah. Run the spot, thump, drop, X, funk a nah. Hada, nada batara, halabatara. Race through the haze of appraiser, appraise the phase of sun rays, laser. Low riders, side gliders, unidentified hoppers, vaporized low vibrology. Though also OG Goldie know me, you fucking cronies, y'all owe me. 1 little, 2 little funky drops, funk a knot bass drop on you puppy tops. Let the bass shift to sin on this 1 in a million slide stone 3010. I'm funkin' knots, lace the block for the funky fans. Lace the block. I'm funkin' knots, to X bass, recognize the brand. Recognize the brand. I'm funkin' knots, making the pops my claim to fame. I'm funkin' knots, and I bought the band, let's change the game. Hovering earth on all platforms. Zap by James Brown as a 6-fold bass. Return of the funky worm, 10-fold mass. Star Child with a mask on. Benny and the Jets on bass, on laces. Scorsese, first take, broad chasing. Blood, turn back inside. Tell to the funky cut. My seat tilt back, blinker. She on speaker. Bye, Tanika. On all the funk torch, scorch it, lift the paint up off your front porch. The revenge of full force, Mr. Wiggles in the black Porsche. I'm funkin' knots, lace the block for the funky fans. I'm funkin' knots, to X bass, recognize the brand. Recognize the brand. I'm funkin' knots, making the pops my claim to fame. My claim to fame. I'm funkin' knots, and I bought the band, let's change the game. Curtis Wilcox, the brand. I'm funkin' knots, making the pops my claim to fame. I'm funkin' knots, and I bought the band, let's change the game. Let's go. I'm funkin' knots.
Nice.
Wow! Woo, that's hot, yo.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it. Y'all seen it right here. Funk from the front seat. X-Men, Funk the Knots. You know, this is why I'm so blessed. I tell you right now, I get goose pimples, man, because I get to share stuff like this and meet people like you again in my life, man.
Right.
So let me tell you something. Your energy and your creativity thing and your well-rounded groundedness actually feeds this show energy. And I tell people, my guests, that all the time. You know, this is all about you guys, and I'm so appreciative to have all you guys in my lives. You know, each and every guest I've ever had, and you, you know, as well. Because when we can share this stuff, and then people can then turn and say, "Hey, I saw this or whatever, I heard that," and they share it. We're keeping the funk alive. You know, and we're keeping, you know, your dad's thing alive. You ride or die, he's right with you. You know, we're keeping everything alive that we set out to do. You know, in this mission as it chose us, man. So, obviously the video's hot. It's on fire. So y'all need to go check that out. You know, make sure you run it and play it regularly now that it's in your diet here on the East Coast. You know, we gotta get some of these people. See, I'm from New York City, but you know, I live in North Carolina now. But I'm a city rat. You know, Long Island, Strong Island. You know, repping that, and you know,
88's in Carolina right now. 88's out there too. Yeah,
so
88's in Carolina. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in Durham, so we're gonna have to link up, and you give me his info so I can touch, and we get him on the show next time. You know, we do the sure. Man. Thank you, Mark, for that, man. I appreciate you. So, the Boosie influence and the P-Funk influence and everything else, and you know, all the people that you mentioned that you listen to, bro. You know, are there any people going forward? Because we're constantly changing. Obviously, COVID, we had to pivot. You know, and I stay on the positive tip on this show, so I don't get into all that other stuff. Not on this show. I don't. It's you know, we don't do that on this show. This peace, love, and positivity, bro. That's why we rolling. That's why we rolling like this. You know, this is how we roll. So, are there any artists out there in the future that you want to work with besides the Nappy Head Funk Army?
Straight out.
You know, I put this on air, so now it's out there.
Put it there. Nah, you know, we're gonna do something. I like almost every artist I hear things I could add to it, and I hear things that they could probably help me with. And I don't know, God just be getting down, man. God get down. So I mean, who would I really say right now? Kendrick Lamar, probably some redos with Ice Cube. All the people that like to touch on the funk. I like to mess with the rappers that mess with funk a lot. And, and I like to probably get with some of the rappers down south, Gucci Mane, some of the people where the funk could take a little bit of, you know, a little sidestep, and I could do some halftime and funk in the south. James Brown and them folks, you know, the Delta Blues folks, even the people way before, you know, there's a certain gut funk that, you know, Roger Troutman would touch on it in a lot of the you were just talking about that sloppy understreet kind of back thing that's right between the groove. Roger was notorious for putting a little before the kick drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You breathe in and doing all kind of middle shit, and that's that down south. So a lot of
that dirt. Folks, that dirt, man. You know, one thing I learned, and this is true, and this is what I knew, because my dad was a Baptist minister. I'm a preacher's kid, so you automatically knew. See. So, you know, we destined to do this, right? Yo, you love my producer, Kevin. I'm going to turn you on to him too, man, because he's a preaching kid. We all vibe like this, but yo, that's why we vibe. So I literally, man, I was about 7 years old, and I'm going to tell you this real quick, right? My mother used to be a maid up in New York on Long Island, and she, you know, there was this big like mansion type place, and I used to just have free will run around the place, and you know, so they had a big yard, and they had these rows of cesspools, like 3 or 4 in a row with the metal top. And I literally one day, my parents was out there, and they was talking to the lady, and I was jumping on the tops, and bro, I literally fell down the side of a cesspool, and my dad grabbed me, pulled me out. I had the funk all over me, bro, and I knew I'd almost died. I almost drowned in a cesspool. Yes, right? God. So I knew then I was destined to get funky. My dad pulled me out, and I scraped the side of my leg because he pulled me on the side, and he said, "Boy," slapped me in the back of the head because I was just jumping, right? Jumping on the tops. I didn't know it would flip like that, and man. Years later, I thought about that, and I was like, you know what? God put the funk on me then. He put the funk. If my dad hadn't been right next to me, I would have drowned in some crap. Straight up.
What a way to go.
What a way to go, dog. But I'm here with you. I'm here. See? I have stink on me for life.
We thank God for the save. We thank God for the funky save.
Yo, he saved me so I could be here with you today. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now. Yeah, but man, I tell that story every once in a while when people like realize, like, yeah, I almost fell in the cesspool.
That's crazy. That's hot. That's a great story.
It is crazy. And man, I'm still here, man, and it's a beautiful thing. God is good. He connects us. It's wonderful. I know that you got the spirit in you. That's what I love about you. And that's what keeps this thing alive, man. And again, we're hanging out with X-Man. Wonderful conversation. Y'all on Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. I would like to have him back as much as he wants to come back. We chatted up some more. So let's get into I was looking at something, right? And I love the promo we're about to show, but I'm gonna set it up and have you set it up first. It's The Last Funk OG, your new single. So set this up for our audience before we show this little promo.
Okay, you're about to show. You're gonna show what I sent you today, or are you showing me what I sent you yesterday?
I'm not sure. It has you under the tower type thing.
Okay, good. All right, yeah. So that's The Last Funk OG intro. Word up to Anisha on cello. Word up to the vocalist on violin. Word up to Stevie Garcia on upright bass. So The Last Funk OG is paying homage to Dad's studio and then taking you through my high school days as a DJ on the ones and twos, and then taking you up to the fact that the people that I was DJing, I ended up producing them, as I ended up producing Ice Cube and a lot of the people. It mentions a lot of the people that I produced. So that's what the song is all about. I actually sent you the demo video for that song this morning. But this video you're about to show now is just a promo setup for the moment.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't get that one this moment. I was like half out. I stayed up till 4 last night cutting tracks myself. Yeah, I was up late.
Yeah, I sent you a single. I sent you a single, and I sent you that video today. Another video today.
Okay.
So the setup is just Compton and what it meant to me. The marketing of Compton, as a lot of my buddies who live there and a bunch of people that I produced in Compton. Compton didn't mean, Compton is a tough place. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy. The streets are real. But Compton also is a dope-ass place. They got some cold houses. Compton actually has houses with big basements. Like the basement be as big as a house. It's crazy. So to me, Compton was a fun place. It was a dope place. So when I think about Compton, I wanted to bring out strings and orchestral instruments. And I wanted to shoot somewhere in Compton that people don't usually shoot when they're in Compton. I went right to the Capitol, right there to the courthouse, where a lot of stuff that may have happened to a lot of people in Compton was not a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to show that rising up out of. So that's really what it was all about. The unsaid of that whole piece is this place is part of it, and we can rise up out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's
yeah. And I love this, man. We're going to show this 30-second and come back and talk about it, man. And we'll get that full version on next time you pop on, man. But I love this because I just love it so much, man. Go ahead, Mark, and run that. Thank you, Mark. Mr. Mark Lee, the main man behind the glass.
This is a true West Side story of a place and time. As my pops and his business partner erected a musical oasis where the sung and unsung musical heroes put in major work. That oasis became the foundation for my musical education, eventually meeting my business partner in that very building as we went on to produce gold and platinum records in the music game. And the dopest part about this Hollywood story is it all happened in the city of Compton. Funkanot, bass check. Compton. X. Word up to Pops. Big boss. Beat up. Bass man.
Yo, I love that. Let me ask you something. That's so dope. That shot, that opening shot with the sun on your one side, panning through you. And I'm very I'm so visceral when it comes to stuff. I drive myself insane. And then panning to your other side of the sun peeping through, man. That's gotta be your dad.
I'm so glad you said that because I was just about to tell you that's exactly who that was.
I see.
You know something? Go on, finish. I'm sorry.
I feel you. That's what I'm telling you. I love you. That's how I know these things.
I love it. And you know something? Let me tell you something. My director for that, my director of photography for that, he accidentally went to the location the day before, and he went like 2 hours early. And he called me, he called me that night, he said, dude, I said, what's up, Z? He said, man, I went to the location this morning on accident. I said, dude, I just told your ass at the session that it's tomorrow or the next day. And, but you know something? He went at the perfect time to see the sun. That's when I knew it was Dad. He went at the perfect time on accident, which would, of course, be on purpose, on another purpose, you feel me? And when I saw what he saw, I didn't even want lights. I wanted the sun to be the light. Because every time Dad peeked through, man, it just was so dope. And so, again, paying homage to the moment, man, bringing the violins out, bringing the real cameras out, and just paying homage to a city like Compton, California, and what my father and his best friend were able to do. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because, again, I'm an empath and I get, you know, vibes, energy, premonition, music stuff like you. The jukebox never shuts off, right? And I was looking at it, and I looked at it last night. I was like, okay, I see this, you know, how it's like fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional type stuff when I'm looking at stuff, you know, and I could feel the vibration. I could see exactly the vision of it. It just opened up so clear. Some things I can't see that well at times. Some things that are meant for me to see crystal clear, God wants me to see. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, his dad is smiling down on him saying,
man, and I'm going to tell you something, man. It was so cold. I was thinking of so many things that can go wrong. So many things. I don't know why. It was just one of the mornings where the things come in. So I got into my meditation, into my breathing. And I got in the car. My brother got in his car. My behind-the-scenes person was on the way already. And let me tell you something. When I got there, it was a seamless, absolutely beautiful shoot.
Yeah.
It was the most easy. It was like milk in a glass, bro. It was just smooth as hell. Just smooth.
Yeah. You know, when things are meant to be, they're going to be. Like George said, the funk is its own reward. You know, Bootsy and George, they tell their stories and we learn from them and we develop our own stories. And, you know, not to mention just them, but, you know, one of my favorite bands, we was talking a minute ago about some stuff. And again, we're hanging out with Funkin' Out X-Man, West Coast, you know, blowing up out there, entrepreneur, businessman, you know, funk, hitting it hard on the bass. You know, we're hanging out with him today on Funk from the Front Seat, Not on the Grind TV. So thank you for everybody out there watching. We appreciate all the love. But you was mentioning bands and stuff, and one of my unsung hero bands that I've been following for many years, and I actually got a chance to, you know, I know Tony Hall and them, you know, Dumpster Funk, man, and you know, right. Say, yeah, and it's like I'm like, come on, how do y'all? I tell people, I was like, how do y'all not know about this?
Right.
Like, where you been at? Like, come on.
It takes those types. The undercurrent of funk before it gets realized, and then the funk that we all kind of have our feet in, and we up to our ankles in funk and unknown funk. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Fertile. It's fertile, man. And I really want to do a song that connects to a program that really spotlights a lot of the funk that we don't hear.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's necessary, bro.
Yeah. I think that no, this is not George Clinton's son for y'all to know. Somebody just typed it. Is this not right? No. This is Mr. Dr. B.W. Taylor's son. Let's not get that twisted. I love you. But yeah, this is Dr. B.W. Taylor's son. And you know, this gentleman right here, he was born to do this. He was doing it in many dimensions, many twists and times, many places and spaces, as we say. But yeah, you know, because of your funk connection and because of your ability to pivot, obviously we've all had to pivot, right? What would you say to some of the young artists out there that are now kind of trying to get into any niche market, but have had to pivot? And how would you encourage them, and words of encouragement to some of the young funk heads out there, you know, that want to come up? And you know, I always just try to drop some nuggets on them and let them know, listen, it ain't easy, but you can't fake it. You know what I'm saying? It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. You're born into it. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, my biggest thought is your intention. You have to intend to be great, and you have to really know once you make that intention that you have to be prepared to really do the work and really get good. You want to listen to your instincts, and you want to know that you wouldn't be here if you weren't supposed to be here. You have to have an innate feeling that you belong when you're about to enter into anything. Otherwise, people will be able to talk you out of it, including that own voice in your own head.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
you want to be grounded and understand that your mission and your intention is going to be challenged by everything, including your own head. And so once you get that, you start understanding that there's two choices in your mind at all times: do it or don't do it. I say, do it consistently with direction. I will promote some meditation and some directional thinking with some vision boarding, just so that you can move through the steps. You know what I'm saying? And with the steps comes a little bit of adrenaline. With the adrenaline comes a little bit of dopamine, and everything you conquer in the smaller picture give you that adrenaline and that dopamine to really go on and kick ass and get into the game. Be hot, be good, listen to the best ones. Take time until your shit is sounding like the best ones. If your drums are right, don't move on. And, you know, people be moving on. Don't move on if you don't know what heat is. And if you don't know what heat is, go find somebody that does and learn what you're doing wrong. Those things are important because a record will get legs sometimes. You know how it is. Sometimes a record just get legs and it's doing some whole other shit. How many times have we heard of people like Loose Ends? I talked to Jane Eugene and she's like, we didn't even know our record was big in the States. You know, we didn't even know it. And I'm like, when you did everything right, sometimes your record is going to do what it's going to do, and you'll have to keep up with it. It's a lot of stories like that. So to the youngsters, make hot work first. I got to say, George taught me that teamwork is really important. I appreciate George Clinton for how he brought teamwork to the table. And I would say in the midst of these millions and millions of people doing music, be original now. Be original and go way out on a limb to be different. When I put on the platform boots, when I put these on, when I put the platform boots on, I knew it was a big throwback. I knew it was a throwback. Or when I designed the X bass to be with the comic book, you know, paying homage to moments in time, but understanding that being different is a good thing, and knowing that I'm gonna get some blowback. But you know something? Blowback ain't gonna do nothing but make my hair move because I'm going forward.
There you go. Forward. That's right. That's right.
So I mean, that's what I would tell youth. I mean, the biggest thing that worked for me and in '88 was our vision board. Thank God for my father coaching us through that, because the minute we put the vision board up and put what we do up on that wall and started praying on that every day, it was coming toward us very fast. It was moving our way and we were moving toward it. That's probably the biggest thing. You got to keep your vision raw. Don't listen to your head half the time. Your head will talk about shit. I
like that statement, because your head will talk. Yeah, because you know what? I have two daughters, 12 and 16. I can't lie, but I always say, see it before you do it. So I'm very much into philosophy. I follow a lot of Buddhism, Marley, you know, Hinduism, and you know, spirituality and all that good stuff, man. And I read Bruce Lee's book several times.
Oh yeah, I'm a dragon. Bruce is a dragon. I'm born in the year of the dragon.
There you go. So I'm near the dog, but I like his philosophy, what he does. Because yes, and you enter the dragon, which made me think about, you know, some stuff that you and I was talking about earlier. When you enter this funk thing, it's like enter the dragon. Don't be scared. Go get it. But so he said one of his quotes. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is deep too, but that's another show. But right. So he said, "Be water." You know, and he said water can be steam, ice, whatever. You can chisel out ice, hold it in the sun, and make fire from water. All of that, right? So he said water. That's deep. So he said water will always seek and find its way up or down. You know, and what he was trying to tell young people, they asked him. The question was, well, why do you fight so many different styles within styles on every single second move? And he said, because you got to be water. He said, because, I could do something traditional, but that may not work for me if I'm fighting somebody that don't even into that. So Bruce Lee was trying to get people hip to like change, constant flowing, constant understanding. We're constantly evolving. Our minds are constantly expanding. And you can tell me if you agree with this. And then I'm going to have my man Mark Lee come on and ask a question to you because he's always chomping at the bit. And, you know, if it wasn't for Mark, I wouldn't be able to do this show because he takes care of all this stuff for me. So I love you, Mark. I get you it. But I can feel him right about this time every show. I can hear Mark scratching at the glass, like, you know, like looking, trying to get in. I hear him. You hear him. So anyway, we have some fun on this show, though. We do laugh it up, man. But yeah, so you know, being water and seeking that level and finding all those little funk alleys, notchways, and things like that, man. Obviously, you do that very well. Obviously, you know, you've been handed this gift, and you know, people out there surely do appreciate the fact that you share it. You know, you're humble about it, but at the same time, you shine like a star, bro. And I can't thank you enough because you know everything you do. For me, as far as I'm concerned, is top notch, A plus, across the board, top notch class act. You know, and I'll be looking into more of your stuff as we chat up more, and I'm definitely going to have you back on as many times as you want because I appreciate your spirituality and everything, and then your music stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that other stuff is what makes this stuff even sweeter. You know, and I'm sure your pops and my pops have finally met up in heaven now, and they're talking right now, and they're like, look at them, preacher's kids,
preacher's kids in the element.
Yeah, and my pops always just tells me things, so he told me to tell you he's hanging with your pops right now, so you know.
Oh, he's hanging with the real one. That's two real ones up there. That's what I'm
two real ones, yeah. And my pops didn't take no shorts now. He, you know, he
already know. I can tell.
Yeah, he did. he was from Georgia. He rode with a 22 under the seat, so he, you know, he didn't take no shorts. But you know,
my pops keep the 38 in the cabinet, but yeah, he did. He might have rolled with it under the seat. He would never let me. I would never know that.
Yeah. You know, that's
bro. He probably would have let me know.
That's deep, bro. I love it, man. Mark Lee, pop on for a minute because I know you got a question, man, for this young, talented man. Hanging out with us on Funk from the Front Seat, not on the Grind TV. Mark Lee, my producer. You know, I just wanted to shout you out again, man. Mark,
I appreciate it. Like I said,
I know you got a question from my man.
No, I was enjoying y'all's conversation. Y'all were rolling. Y'all were having a great conversation. I was hearing y'all talk about the years of, and I'm actually born in the year of the tiger and all of that. But one of the things I got to get to Funkonaut and give him some big time shout out for is as I was listening to the conversations that y'all were having, and you know, me and you oftentimes talk about that, the connection between funk music and a music that holds dear to my heart, which is blues music. And I heard you giving some honor to Delta music, the Delta sound, and I'm a big fan of Southern Soul and the Memphis sound and a lot of other sounds. So I'd love to hear you talk about that connection of the blues and the funk to you, because like I know they're very much related, and a lot of times folks don't understand the relationship that they have. I'm a big fan of Buddy Guy and a number of others, but I'd love to hear you share a little bit about that blues connection that you have.
The blues connection is so dope to me because they could talk about a bunch of things that you think people really don't want to hear about. And you're like, damn, they talking about all that. A woman left him, just got lost his job, his bank statement's gone. You tell you, but you go into a blues club and everybody happy as hell. Blues music is some of the happiest fans that I've ever seen. They listening to the coldest stuff, and yet they're the happiest fans. So when I looked at blues music, especially when I saw people like Roger incorporating banjo-like licks in some of his guitar playing, and then he had the audacity to put a mini move in the middle of that bluesy feel and put on a 4/4 is ridiculous. And what I relate to blues is shit to a plant. The more shit you got in the pot, the prettier the plant. The relationship of challenge to beauty is so incredible. That's what blues is to me. Blues is that real come from that makes you relatable. That's the bottom line, bro. It's the blueprint of the come from. You got to have the blues in it. If you ain't got that, you ain't got real life. If you ain't got real life, you can't relate that 4/4 blueprint on top of that. Come on now. You listen to Glenn Jones and Gary and all them people putting you knew what it was. You knew what it was. You knew what it was. I knew what it was when James Brown, when they passed me, I was just hearing the blueprint. But don't get it twisted. Fred Wesley, Maceo Parker, them cats coming right from that, man. And it's a pleasure to just be able to say it. I'm gonna give y'all some blues soon too. I'm gonna give y'all some.
We were looking for that too. Like I said, I was digging that funk tone. Zach was very much correct when he sent me that video. I was sitting there just rocking it in my apartment complex, just like he was rocking it in his. So I was definitely digging the whole sounds that you created on that video and everything. And one of the things I love about the blues, which I think funk music does as well, is it gives you the news. Like I said, a lot of times they talk about hip hop being the news and telling you about the news, but I think that blues music also will oftentimes tell you about the social ills that are going on in the world, not just relationship ills, but the social ills that are going on in the world as well. So that's one of the things that I dig about it. And then the other really quick question, I'm going to turn it back over to my man who just does a great job with this show and everything, the master of the funk, none other than Zach and everything. But the thing that I was going to say that I was also impressed about was the fact that you've got a video game as well. So I'd love to hear about that video game that you've got also, because I know that on one of my other platforms, I've got a good friend that is a video game maker. So I'd love to hear you share a little bit about that video game that you've got as well.
Exactly. So the video game, so you see the X-Base. The X-Base is connected to a folklore of a superhero. The superhero X-Men at the time, Funkonaut has been the name now because of X-Men. We don't want to have problems. But the video game is based on crossing a bridge and fighting through a series of different environments. The X-Base is actually the main weapon that the main characters are fighting with. And so different people come up against me with different, tools, guns, knives, whatnot. But then I break it out. I'll grab it. And it does all kind of stuff. So it's based on the comic book. And so we're going through the modes and the different levels that you can move to now. And so it's still connected, all connected with the comic book though, first. So cool. Video game wise, I'd like to talk to your guy. I'm talking to another person also about some good 3D stuff. And I want to give a shout out to University of Southern California because they actually did. I was the first person that they shot with a camera they designed called the Jaunt, which is a 24 lens camera that puts you in absolute virtual reality. And it very much gave us more details about what the game needs to do once we saw that. Yeah. And
that's deep.
Yeah, it's heavy, man. That's a whole nother chapter because I got to talk about Dr. Ben Caldwell and Leimert Park and how he got USC and everybody involved. And I got a chance to see, the first prototype of the X-Base was on that. Word up to Dave Duclos out of France, and he rendered it, and we were able to get that up. But that really gave me more details on the video game. So I can't deliver a lot of details about the intricacies of it because the differences, I think, are my biggest standpoints. But I would like to talk to your buddy who does the video games too.
Yeah, I'll make sure y'all connect because you got Mark's number anyway. But just hit him up. He's down. I'll make sure y'all stay connected because I think I sent you his cell, right?
You did send me his number. Yeah, okay, definitely looking forward to having a conversation with him. Like Zach said, and I'm going to duck back into the back scene and everything. But like Zach said, as far as I'm concerned, just like I said with Joe Keys, another one of our guests, and a number of the other guests that Zach has had, y'all are just part of my bigger family and everything.
It's all family, man. That's dope when you got a good family member who knows technical stuff. That's dope. Blues.
We try to make it work. Mark is a good dude, man. And, he's one of my go-tos. I got several of them when it comes to, the tech thing. But, yeah, he's one of my go-tos. So, anyway, we've been hanging out with Funkonaut X-Man. He's going to try to bounce back on. He might have gotten knocked off, but he's going to bounce back on. But I need everybody out there, man. Remember, this show is about peace, love, and harmony. So make sure, you pick up some of Funkonaut's music. Get his video and check it out. When the game is out and it's popping, make sure y'all get that popping. And just remember, we love everybody out there. We appreciate everybody that follows the show. You guys actually, make everything sweeter than sweet. you know, and always keeping that funk on the one is what we about. Peace, love, and harmony. You know, Funk from the Front Seat started almost a year now, almost give or take, you know, in May. You know, we just started doing a little 15-minute thing, and now, you know, we're up to like a full hour and a half, which is pretty cool. And, you know, 9 on the Grind TVs, you know, we got some people following that, so that's good. And, you know, we just want to make sure that everything we do is positive, everything we do is on the one, everything we do is spiritually feeding you something, because that's what we all need. We all need to be fed spiritual food. You know, and I'm going to just drop my little shout outs and things that I do at the end of the show, and we're going to try to get X back on for his final thought. So while Mark's working on that, I just want to shout out again, Bootsy and Patty. I love you. Thanks for supporting the show. P Funk Radio, Keith Jackson, Brenda Robinson, Gabe, you know, Gonzalez, his radio show on Wednesday nights, Robin Circler P, Larry Funkster Jones, you know, I love you on Saturday nights, and Phil down and, you know, doing his thing on Tuesdays, as well as, you know, Sunday night chill out that he got popping, Tanny Soul Sister, you know, and Steady Groove over in Germany. I love you. You know, Carmen, Wendy, Australia, love you guys. You guys are sweet. You know, Tony Cam, I'm digging it. Dr. Brookenstein, thank you for always taking care of our website. Curtis for the artwork. Pat Dioria, Aquarius Rising Art, which takes care of our business cards and things like that. Otis and Donna, I love you guys. Benevolent Funk, thank you for always hooking up this swag. And today, you know, Mr. Joe Keys, the Late Bloomer Band. I'm going to try to move some stuff so you can see the shirt that I'm rocking, you know. Hi, Brenda. How you doing? If you're in Ohio and you're watching, how you doing? I hope all is well. So, yeah, we're just hanging out. Again, an amazing production effort by my man, Mark Lee, my main man behind the glass. Shout out, Napa Air Funk Army. Loving y'all, you know. So let's get our thing popping, and let's get our roll call on, and we'll see if we can get, you know, X-Men back on, you know, right before, you know, we sign off. But while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and kick this for you.
All right. New Orleans, California, where y'all at? Ohio. Somebody scream. Montreal, Canada. I love y'all. Woo. Strong Island, Bayshore. Y'all know how we do. Yeah, Staten Island, where you at? North Carolina, South Carolina, where you at? What's up, Gerald? Pennsylvania, where you at? Minneapolis, where you at? There you go, there you go, there you go. What's up?
Let Zach know as he's giving the shout outs and everything.
Georgia, where you at?
Just got off the phone with the man with the plane.
Texas, where you at? Utah, where you at? New Orleans, where you at? Bring him on, Mark, if he's there. It's all good.
Now, I was just saying that I just got off the phone with him. He said that he's trying to dial in right
where you
now.
At? Where you at?
He's coming in.
Out of time. From the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. We love y'all. Woo! I see you out there. Get up. You know what time it is. What's up, Lisa Graham, Washington State? How you doing? Again, our special guest today was none other than X-Man. Yeah, Funk or not. This new thing is hot, y'all. It's gonna be popping. The last OG Compton, California. Woo! New Jersey, where you at? Queens in the house. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland, where you at? Utah, let's go to the middle of the country. North Dakota, South Dakota, y'all out there? Dubai, India, New Zealand, Germany. I love all y'all. From the Front Seat. I'm your host, number 9, right here on 9 on the Grind TV. Keep it real, keep it light, keep it tight. Know that I love you day and night. Love y'all. Woo! I'm out. so much better. You would show me how to flow like you do. I hear you, Cheryl. So much better. You would show me how to flow like you do. So much better. If you would show me how to flow like you do. You could feel so much better if you would show me how to flow like you do. You could feel so much better if you would show me how to flow like you do. Show me how to flow like you do. You could feel Monster, I need a sponsor. Make it funky with the funky monster. Come on, Monster. I know you watching. Hook me up. If you would show me how to monster like you do, you could feel so much better. Show me how to funk like you do. Turn around. Woo! Funk from the front seat. Yo, what a great time we had today. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I love y'all. I appreciate each and every one of you. Know that each and every one of you are very special to me. If you got a birthday, anniversary, shout out to you. If you're just hanging out, chilling, and you want to come back and visit us, come on in anytime. I got plenty of room in the front seat, plenty of room in the back seat. Funk from the front seat. And I got a special announcement to make. Again, I'd like to thank my guest, Funk or not, Mr. Victor Taylor, X-Man. He was nice enough to get up early for us and join us live. You know how we like to do our shows. We like to do them live if we can. And he was kind enough, generous enough to share his time, well over an hour. And, you guys go on Facebook and give him a shout out and make sure that, we support everyone doing their thing, And coming up soon, we're going to have another special edition of the Club Funketeers Line Dancers. Cheryl Woodhouse and Brenda Woods and, Danita and the whole gang are going to be hanging out with us, Teresa and all of the Funketeers, including Peppermint Patty. And we're going to do this thing again, and it's going to be coming up real soon. So you guys pay attention to your social media platforms and the outlets. And we're going to have another contest. And this time, and you're hearing it right now, live on Funk from the Front Seat, the winner of the next contest will get a chance to guest host my show. So we're going to set that up for you. So in other words, if you win the contest, we will set it up for you to host the show from your front seat, and you can be the host and I'll be the co-host. And whoever wins the contest can ask whatever questions they want. Whatever guest comes on that week, it'll be you and that guest. You will be on the show. And we got Victor back. Thank you, sir, for popping back on. I always have a last word. I do my shout outs and everything, but I want to say, before I give you the last word, sir, it's been a pleasure. It's a moving story for me to be part of your life's funky journey. Thank you for sharing so many family memories with us. And this is just part one. So for y'all out there watching, this is only part one. We're going to have a part 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what you bring, sir, to the table is an amazing story in a story in a story. And that's what we like here. And you couldn't have been more grounded in what you told the audience today. They needed to hear that, because sometimes we forget that as artists and musicians, where do we come from? We just see the final product. We never hear the backstory. We never understand, hey, how were they raised? What did they do? Where they come and how did they get these thoughts? So you gave, a very clear picture to my audience today of what grounded is. And what I'm going to take away from every show I do, but I take away something from this show today.
as a humble, grounded, extremely insanely talented brother that's spreading peace, love, and hope like dope. So thank you, sir. Your last word for the audience, please.
First and foremost, let me give a big shout out to you and your radio show, and to our great producer that's keeping everything happening on the side with all the equipment. It's been a great interview. I had a great time.
Thank you.
I got kicked off a minute ago and I had to get through some things.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah, things happen. But one of the biggest things, I guess, is the takeaway for the last word is funk is a way of life. You know, it's an art, it's a music, it's definitely a spirituality, and it's a space, man. And as one nation, you know, it's just glad. It makes me glad to just know that we can talk about the full roundedness of what music can do for people. My dad always said, music is a resource that stimulates a variety of emotions in listeners who have little else in common. And I always like that because I can look in the audience and see people who usually wouldn't have met up if it hadn't been for a Parliament concert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
We're ambassadors, bro. And I stand humble as one. And I want to thank you for enjoying my music. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to express some of my vibrations, bro. You're a very good brother, man. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in the front seat.
Oh man, you know, I'm humbled by it. It's a pleasure. You know, and usually within, you know, the next 4 hours or so, I'll always be sending my guests, hey, here are more dates. So, you know, be looking for me, you know, and I got some things that I want to chop it up with you about as far as, you know, other subject matter, because there's so many things. We're just peeling back the first layer of the onion. Again, for those of you watching, my guest today, Victor Taylor, Funk or Not, you know, X-Man, he's got this whole thing figured out. And because give her some love now. She's like, hey, don't forget. There you go. That's what
yeah. Just doing a licensing deal with her too. We're just doing a licensing deal now. We're talking to she's handmade, but the licensing deal will be with the manufacturer who can do a few of them at a time for a lot less price, because this thing is kind of pricey right now. But I have some people who actually want to get the original version, so that's good too.
Yeah. Hey, that's worth it, because let me tell you, you know, right now, and you know, we got a second or two. Branding is something, and we didn't get a chance to touch on this today as much, but pivoting and understanding which direction to pivot is equally as important as just pivoting. It don't make no sense to pivot. So, you know, you can't pivot around in a circle. You know, right? Check it out. You got to pivot in a direction. You know, so for me, my pivot was, okay, let me start doing these podcasts. And Mark was gracious enough to turn me on to how to make this work. So I thank you for that, Mark. But, you know, until we can get back to that whole, hey, let's play for the audience thing, pivoting, man, is a major thing. Branding and all of that stuff. So anything that we could ever do, you send it to me. We're going to always run it. You know, and I tell my guests, listen, you know, we run your stuff whether you're a guest on my show or not. We're just going to run it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We support. Yeah, we support. So, you know, you may be just tuning into the show one day just to watch and see somebody and you see your stuff. But that's because we cross-promote all the time. You know, I love it. As Black entrepreneurs and business people, we don't do that enough, I think. You know, and that's another show. We ain't going to get too deep into that. But again, I got you, bro. I got you right here from the heart. I love you, my brother from another mother. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Man, shouts out. So y'all follow my man. Check him out. Funk from the Front Seat. It's been so good today. I can't stop funking. And I'm going to leave y'all with this. I'm going to get out of here. Peace. Love. Love you, brother. I'm out. West Coast, I love you, bro. I'm going. What about the people in the streets? They ain't got nowhere to stay. We gotta help those people out. What about the people walking the streets with no shoes on their feet? We gotta help those people too.
said.
We know where to go. We gotta help those people out.
I'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Funkanot X-Man. OG of the funk. I see y'all. Thank you. Love y'all out there. Peace.